The morning sun cast long shadows across the rocky terrain of Afghanistan's Helmand province as Staff Sergeant Maria Rodriguez adjusted her position behind the Barrett M82A1 rifle. The weapon, weighing nearly 30 pounds, had become an extension of her body after countless hours of training and real-world operations. At 28 years old, she was one of only a handful of women who had earned their place among the Navy SEALs' most elite sniper units. The mission briefing had been straightforward enough. Intelligence indicated that a high-value target would be moving through a valley approximately 3 kilometers from their observation post. The target was a Taliban commander responsible for coordinating attacks against coalition forces and local civilians who dared to cooperate with international troops. What made this mission particularly challenging was the extreme distance and the unpredictable mountain winds that could affect bullet trajectory at such ranges. Rodriguez had grown up in rural Montana, where her father had taught her to shoot before she could properly tie her shoes. By age 12, she was outperforming seasoned hunters in accuracy competitions across 3 counties. Her natural talent with firearms combined with an almost supernatural ability to read wind patterns and atmospheric conditions had caught the attention of military recruiters during her senior year of high school. The path to becoming a SEAL had been grueling. The basic underwater demolition training had pushed her physical and mental limits beyond anything she had imagined possible. Cold ocean waters, sleep deprivation, and the constant pressure to prove herself worthy had broken many candidates who had seemed far more prepared than she was. Yet something deep within her refused to quit, even when instructors seemed determined to make her the first to ring the bell, signaling voluntary withdrawal from the program. Advanced sniper training had been where she truly excelled. While other candidates struggled with long-range calculations and environmental factors, Rodriguez seemed to instinctively understand how humidity, temperature, wind speed, and even the Earth's rotation would affect a bullet's path over extreme distances. Her instructors had never seen anyone adapt so quickly to the complex mathematics and physics involved in precision shooting at ranges exceeding 2 miles. Now, positioned on this desolate mountainside with her spotter Sergeant First Class James Chen beside her, all that training was about to be put to the ultimate test. Chen had been working with Rodriguez for 2 years, and their partnership had developed into an almost telepathic understanding. He would provide wind readings, target identification, and range estimations while she focused entirely on the shot itself. The Barrett rifle before her was loaded with 50 caliber Browning machine gun rounds, each bullet weighing 750 grains and capable of traveling at speeds exceeding 2,800 feet per second. At the distances they were contemplating, the bullet would take several seconds to reach its target, requiring precise calculations to account for the target's movement and the projectile's curved trajectory. Through her scope, Rodriguez could see the valley where their target was expected to appear. The terrain was a mixture of rocky outcroppings and sparse vegetation, with a narrow dirt road winding through the center. Local intelligence suggested the commander would be traveling in a small convoy, but picking out the right vehicle and the correct individual would require split-second decision-making once the opportunity presented itself. The waiting began, as it always did in sniper operations. Hours could pass with nothing happening. Then everything would unfold in mere seconds. Rodriguez controlled her breathing, maintaining the steady rhythm that would allow her to take the shot when the moment arrived. Her heart rate remained calm, her muscles relaxed but ready. This was the zone where she performed best, where time seemed to slow down and every detail became crystal clear. Chen monitored radio communications while simultaneously watching the valley through his spotting scope. The intelligence network had been tracking their target's movement for 3 days, and all indicators suggested he would pass through this location sometime before noon. The morning was progressing steadily, with changing light conditions that would affect visibility and shadow patterns in the target area. As the sun climbed higher, Rodriguez made subtle adjustments to her rifle's position. The heating of the barrel and changes in atmospheric pressure throughout the day required constant recalibration of her equipment. Every variable had to be accounted for because at these extreme ranges, the smallest miscalculation could result in a complete miss or worse, unintended casualties. The radio crackled quietly with updates from other observation posts scattered throughout the region. Allied forces were coordinating multiple operations simultaneously, creating a complex web of communication that had to be monitored without losing focus on their primary objective. Rodriguez had learned to filter out non-essential information while remaining alert for anything that might affect their mission. Her mind wandered briefly to the training exercise where she had first realized her exceptional long-range capabilities. The target had been placed at what instructors considered an impossible distance for a standard infantry weapon. While other candidates struggled to even locate the target through their scopes, Rodriguez had placed 3 consecutive shots within a 6-inch grouping. That performance had earned her immediate selection for advanced sniper school, and ultimately led to her current position among the military's most elite marksmen. Chen's voice broke through Rodriguez's concentration with a quiet whisper. Movement in the valley 2 kilometers out. She immediately refocused her attention through the scope, scanning the area where her spotter had detected activity. The morning heat was beginning to create atmospheric disturbances that would complicate any long-range shot, adding another layer of complexity to an already challenging situation. Through the powerful optics, she could make out a small dust cloud approaching from the east. The convoy was moving slowly, suggesting either mechanical problems or extreme caution about potential threats. Rodriguez began her mental calculations, factoring in the vehicle's speed, the distance to various points along the road, and the time it would take for a bullet to travel over such an extreme range. The intelligence briefing had provided detailed photographs of their target, but identifying one individual from over 3 kilometers away would require perfect timing and favorable positioning. The Taliban commander was known to travel in the second vehicle of a 3-car convoy, typically sitting in the front passenger seat. However, operational security sometimes dictated changes to these patterns, making positive identification crucial before taking any shot. Chen was simultaneously tracking the convoy's progress and monitoring wind conditions through a specialized meteorological device. The mountain terrain created unpredictable air currents that could shift dramatically within minutes. A successful shot at this distance would require not just accurate aim, but precise timing to coincide with favorable atmospheric conditions. Rodriguez had spent countless hours studying ballistic tables and trajectory calculations for the 50 caliber round. At 3 kilometers, the bullet would follow a pronounced arc, climbing several hundred feet above the line of sight before descending toward the target. The Earth's rotation would also affect the projectile's path, requiring adjustment for what snipers call the Coriolis effect. Every factor had to be considered and calculated in the brief window when the shot became available. The convoy was now clearly visible, consisting of 3 white pickup trucks moving in a tight formation. Rodriguez could see armed figures in the truck beds, their weapons clearly visible even at this extreme distance. The lead vehicle was performing what appeared to be route clearance duties, with occupants scanning for improvised explosive devices that had become increasingly common throughout the region. Her breathing remained controlled and steady. Years of training had taught her to manage the adrenaline response that could affect accuracy at critical moments. The Barrett rifle remained rock-steady despite its considerable weight, supported by a bipod and her practiced shooting position. Every muscle in her body was relaxed except those necessary to maintain perfect stability. Chen provided continuous updates on wind speed and direction. The morning thermals were beginning to develop as the sun heated the valley floor, creating rising air currents that would affect bullet trajectory. These conditions typically worsened throughout the day, making early morning or late evening the preferred times for extreme long-range engagements. The middle vehicle in the convoy had stopped momentarily, and through her scope, Rodriguez could see figures moving around the truck. This was potentially the moment they had been waiting for, but positive target identification remained challenging at such extreme range. The individual they were seeking could be any of several figures visible near the vehicle. Rodriguez's training had emphasized the critical importance of target verification, especially in environments where civilian casualties were a constant concern. The rules of engagement required absolute certainty before taking any shot, and at over 3 kilometers away, that certainty was difficult to achieve. She would need to wait for the perfect combination of target identification, favorable conditions, and clear shot opportunity. The convoy resumed movement, with the vehicles maintaining their tight formation as they navigated the winding mountain road. Rodriguez tracked their progress, noting several locations where the terrain might provide better shooting angles. The key was predicting where the vehicles would be when atmospheric conditions aligned favorably for the shot. Chen had established communication with other observation posts in the area, gathering additional intelligence about the convoy's composition and likely destination. Coordination between multiple sniper teams was essential in complex operations like this, ensuring that the highest probability shots were taken by the teams in the best positions. The mathematics of extreme, long-range shooting occupied part of Rodriguez's mind while she maintained visual contact with the target area. Bullet drop at this distance would exceed 40 feet, requiring her to aim significantly high to compensate. Wind drift could push the projectile several feet off course, and timing had to account for the bullets. Flight time of over 4 seconds. Her experience in previous operations had taught her to trust her instincts while relying on the technical calculations provided by her training. Sometimes the perfect shot presented itself unexpectedly, requiring immediate action based on hours of preparation and split-second decision-making. Other times, missions required patience and the discipline to wait for conditions to improve. The convoy was approaching a section of road that would provide the clearest field of fire. Rodriguez made final adjustments to her rifle's position and began controlling her heart rate through breathing techniques learned during sniper school. The next few minutes would determine whether months of intelligence gathering and mission planning would result in success or require another attempt at a later date. The convoy had reached the predetermined engagement zone, a stretch of road that provided the clearest sightline across the valley. Rodriguez could now make out individual figures more distinctly through her high-powered scope. The middle vehicle had slowed considerably, and she could see someone in the passenger seat gesturing toward the mountainous terrain surrounding their position. Chen's voice remained calm and professional as he provided continuous updates. Wind steady at 6 miles per hour, southwest to northeast. Temperature rising, humidity dropping. Range to target area 3,200 meters and holding steady. These environmental factors would remain relatively stable for only a few more minutes before the increasing heat created more challenging shooting conditions. Rodriguez had identified what appeared to be their primary target in the front passenger seat of the middle vehicle. The individual matched the physical description from intelligence briefings, and his positioning within the convoy corresponded to established patterns observed in previous operations. However, positive identification at this extreme range required waiting for the perfect moment when visibility and angles aligned optimally. The Barrett rifle had been zeroed at much shorter distances during training, requiring significant holdover adjustments for this unprecedented range. Rodriguez had practiced these calculations hundreds of times, but real-world conditions always introduced variables that could only be addressed through experience and intuition. The scope's reticle markings helped guide her aim point, but ultimately success would depend on her ability to synthesize all the environmental factors into one precise shot. Chen was monitoring radio communications from command while simultaneously tracking multiple data points through his spotting scope. The mission's complexity required coordination with air support units, ground forces in adjacent areas, and intelligence networks that were providing real-time updates about potential threats to their position. Any change in the tactical situation could affect the authorization to engage or require immediate extraction. The target vehicle had stopped again, this time for what appeared to be a security halt. Armed guards exited the trucks and established a defensive perimeter, while their passenger remained seated. This presented the ideal opportunity Rodriguez had been waiting for, with a stationary target and clear visibility across the valley. She began her final breathing sequence, the rhythm she had perfected through thousands of practice rounds and dozens of combat engagements. Her heart rate slowed to its optimal range, and her vision seemed to sharpen as adrenaline heightened her focus without affecting her motor control. Every aspect of her training was now converging into this single moment. The crosshairs settled on her target with rock-steady precision. Rodriguez could see the individual clearly enough to confirm identity markers that matched intelligence photographs. His position provided a clean shot angle with minimal risk of collateral damage to other personnel in the immediate area. All the conditions were aligning for what could be the longest confirmed sniper kill in military history. Chen provided final confirmation of environmental conditions. All factors optimal, wind steady, clear field of fire confirmed. His role as spotter was critical not just for the technical aspects of the shot, but for verifying target identification and ensuring compliance with rules of engagement. Both operators had to agree that all conditions were met before the shot could be taken. Rodriguez's finger moved to the trigger with deliberate precision. The Barrett's trigger mechanism required steady pressure rather than a quick pull, and she had trained extensively to apply that pressure consistently regardless of stress levels or environmental conditions. The rifle's weight and design helped minimize movement during the trigger sequence, but her technique was the determining factor in accuracy. Time seemed to slow as she made final micro-adjustments to her aim point. The target remained stationary, apparently engaged in conversation with other individuals around the vehicle. Rodriguez calculated the bullet's trajectory one final time, accounting for the significant drop over 3 kilometers and the wind drift that would affect the projectile during its 4-second flight time. The moment arrived with crystal clarity. Every variable had been accounted for, every condition optimized, and the target clearly identified and confirmed. Rodriguez applied steady pressure to the trigger, feeling the mechanism's resistance as the firing pin prepared to strike the primer. Her breathing had stopped naturally at the bottom of an exhale, providing maximum stability for the critical moment. The Barrett's massive report echoed across the valley as the .50 caliber round left the muzzle at nearly 3,000 feet per second. Rodriguez maintained her sight picture, watching through the scope as the bullet began its long arc toward the target. The recoil was substantial but manageable, and she was able to observe the entire engagement area. Throughout the shot sequence, Chen immediately began tracking the bullet's flight path through his spotting scope while Rodriguez maintained focus on the target area. At this extreme range, they would be able to visually track much of the projectile's trajectory before impact. The next few seconds would determine whether months of preparation and a lifetime of training had resulted in success or required immediate reassessment of the tactical situation. The convoy's security personnel appeared unaware that a shot had been fired, their attention focused on immediate threats in their vicinity rather than the distant mountainside where Rodriguez and Chen remained concealed. The bullet was still in flight, following its predetermined path through the thin mountain air toward a target over 2 miles away. The seconds stretched endlessly as Rodriguez and Chen watched the bullet's trajectory through their respective scopes. At this distance, they could actually observe the projectile's arc as it traveled through the clear mountain air. The .50 caliber round maintained its velocity remarkably well, but the effects of gravity and atmospheric resistance were clearly visible as it followed its predetermined path toward the target. Chen maintained continuous observation of the target area while Rodriguez kept her rifle positioned for a potential follow-up shot. The convoy's security team remained focused on their immediate surroundings, unaware that a sniper engagement was in progress from over 3 kilometers away. The sound of the Barrett's discharge would take several seconds to travel across the valley, providing a brief window where their position remained undetected. Through her scope, Rodriguez could see the target still seated in the passenger seat, engaged in what appeared to be an animated conversation with individuals around the vehicle. The 4-second flight time felt like an eternity, with every microsecond potentially affecting the outcome of months of planning and intelligence gathering. Her crosshairs remained steady on the target area, ready for immediate damage assessment once the bullet reached its destination. The impact was clearly visible through both operators' scopes. The .50 caliber round struck with devastating precision, exactly where Rodriguez had aimed. The target's body jerked violently before becoming motionless, and the immediate area around the vehicle erupted into chaos as security personnel scrambled to identify the source of the attack. The shot had been perfect, but confirmation of the hit was only the beginning of their mission responsibilities. Chen immediately began documenting the engagement details, while Rodriguez maintained overwatch of the target area. Military protocol required precise recording of all aspects of the shot, including environmental conditions, target identification procedures, and impact assessment. This information would be crucial for both mission reporting and potential future operations, requiring similar precision at extreme ranges. The convoy's response was swift and professional, indicating well-trained security personnel. Armed guards immediately established a defensive perimeter, while others attended to the casualty. Several individuals began scanning the surrounding terrain with binoculars, searching for signs of the sniper's position. Their training was evident in the coordinated response, but the extreme range made locating Rodriguez and Chen's position extremely difficult. Rodriguez began preparing for potential follow-up shots while Chen coordinated with other observation posts in the area. The convoy's reaction suggested they were dealing with a high-value individual, confirming intelligence assessments about the target's importance within the enemy organization. However, the security team's professionalism also indicated they would likely attempt to evacuate the area quickly, potentially requiring additional engagements. The mathematical precision required for the shot was now validated by its successful outcome. Rodriguez's calculations had accounted for bullet drop exceeding 40 feet, wind drift of several feet laterally, and the Earth's rotation effects over the extended flight time. The fact that all these variables had been correctly integrated into a single precise shot represented years of training and natural aptitude combining at the perfect moment. Chen was simultaneously monitoring radio communications and tracking the convoy's movements through his spotting scope. The security team appeared to be preparing for immediate evacuation, loading personnel into the remaining vehicles while maintaining defensive positions. This reaction pattern was consistent with high-value target protection protocols observed in previous operations throughout the region. Rodriguez maintained her shooting position, knowing that follow-up shots might be necessary depending on the convoy's actions and command decisions. The Barrett rifle remained perfectly zeroed, and environmental conditions continued to favor long-range engagement. Her training emphasized the importance of staying prepared for multiple engagements until the tactical situation was completely resolved. The sound of the gunshot was finally beginning to reach the convoy's position, confirming their suspicions about a sniper attack. Several security personnel immediately began pointing toward the general direction of Rodriguez's position, but the extreme range made precise location identification virtually impossible without specialized equipment. The mountainous terrain also provided numerous potential hiding places that would complicate any counter-sniper efforts. Chen reported the successful engagement to command while continuing to monitor the target area for additional intelligence opportunities. The convoy's communications patterns, evacuation procedures, and security protocols all provided valuable information for future operations. Every aspect of their response was being documented for analysis by intelligence specialists who would use this information to plan subsequent missions. The target remained motionless in the vehicle, confirming the lethality of the shot. Rodriguez's years of training with the Barrett rifle had prepared her for the weapon's capabilities at extreme range, but witnessing the precision possible at over 3 kilometers was remarkable, even by special operations standards. The shot would undoubtedly be analyzed extensively by military ballistics experts and sniper instructors. Rodriguez began mentally reviewing the entire engagement sequence, from initial target identification through impact assessment. Every decision point and technical calculation would need to be documented in her after-action report. The successful outcome validated not just her individual skills, but the effectiveness of the training programs that had prepared her for this moment. The convoy was now preparing to depart the area, their security posture indicating high alert status and urgency to evacuate. Rodriguez and Chen would maintain observation until the vehicles were completely out of range, ensuring comprehensive intelligence collection about the enemy's response patterns and capabilities. The mission was successful, but their responsibilities as professional snipers continued until they received orders to extract from their position. The convoy departed the engagement area within minutes of the shot, moving at high speed toward the eastern exit of the valley. Rodriguez and Chen maintained observation throughout the evacuation, documenting the security team's procedures and communication patterns for intelligence analysis. The professional manner of their withdrawal confirmed that they were dealing with a well-trained organization rather than typical insurgent forces. Chen was simultaneously coordinating with command elements while Rodriguez began breaking down her shooting position. Military protocol required immediate displacement after any sniper engagement to avoid counter-battery fire or ground pursuit. However, the extreme range of the shot provided them with significant time advantages that most snipers never experienced in conventional engagements. The ballistics data from the shot would require extensive analysis to confirm the exact distance and environmental factors involved. Rodriguez's range estimation indicated approximately 3,247 meters, which would represent a significant achievement in military sniper history. Chen had meticulously recorded all environmental conditions, ammunition specifications, and timing data that would allow experts to validate the engagement parameters. Rodriguez felt a mixture of professional satisfaction and sobering responsibility as she secured her equipment. The successful elimination of a high-value target would potentially save countless lives by disrupting enemy operations in the region. However, the gravity of taking a human life, regardless of circumstances, was never lost on professional military personnel who understood the weight of their actions. The extraction route had been planned during mission preparation, with multiple contingency options depending on the tactical situation after the engagement. The convoy's rapid departure suggested they were prioritizing casualty evacuation over pursuit operations, which favored a methodical withdrawal rather than emergency extraction procedures. Rodriguez and Chen would move carefully but without the urgency required in more dangerous scenarios. Chen completed his final radio reports while Rodriguez conducted equipment checks to ensure nothing was left behind that could compromise their position or future operations. The mountainous terrain provided excellent concealment for their movement, but also required careful navigation to avoid natural obstacles that could slow their progress toward the extraction point. The psychological impact of extreme long-range shooting was something Rodriguez had trained to manage throughout her career. The extended time between trigger pull and impact, combined with the ability to observe results through high-powered optics, created a unique mental challenge that required professional discipline and emotional control. Her training emphasized the importance of maintaining tactical focus rather than dwelling on the personal implications of combat actions. Military doctrine emphasized the strategic value of precision sniper operations in reducing overall casualties and collateral damage. A single accurate shot that eliminated a key enemy leader could prevent larger engagements that would endanger both military personnel and civilian populations. Rodriguez understood that her actions served broader tactical objectives beyond the immediate target elimination. The technical aspects of the shot would be studied extensively by military ballistics experts and training institutions. Successful engagements at extreme ranges provided valuable data for improving equipment design, ammunition performance, and training curricula. Every detail of the engagement would contribute to advancing the effectiveness of future sniper operations across all military branches. Chen reported that other observation posts in the area had confirmed the convoy's departure and detected no signs of counter-sniper activity or ground pursuit. The enemy's focus appeared to be on medical evacuation rather than retaliation, suggesting they recognized the futility of attempting to locate and engage snipers at such extreme ranges with conventional weapons and tactics. Rodriguez began moving toward their first waypoint, maintaining the careful pace and noise discipline required for covert movement through hostile territory. The Barrett rifle's weight required specific carrying techniques to avoid fatigue during extended movement, and both operators had trained extensively in mountain warfare procedures that would get them safely to the extraction point. The mission's success would likely generate requests for detailed briefings with various military and intelligence organizations. Rodriguez's experience and techniques would be valuable for training other snipers and improving operational procedures for similar missions. The knowledge gained from extreme long-range engagements contributed to the overall effectiveness of special operations forces worldwide. Chen maintained communication with extraction teams while monitoring for any changes in the tactical situation that might require adjustments to their planned route. The mountainous terrain that had provided excellent concealment for the sniper position also offered multiple options for safe movement away from the engagement area. Their training in escape and evasion procedures prepared them for various contingencies that might develop during withdrawal. The confirmed distance of 3,247 meters would place this engagement among the longest successful sniper shots in military history. Rodriguez understood the significance of this achievement, but remained focused on the tactical requirements of completing the mission safely. Recognition and analysis would come later, after she and Chen had successfully returned to friendly territory. The environmental conditions that had favored the long-range shot also supported their movement away from the position. Clear visibility allowed them to navigate efficiently, while the stable atmospheric conditions suggested weather would not complicate their extraction. Rodriguez moved with the confidence that came from thorough preparation and professional training, knowing that the mission's most challenging phase had been successfully completed. The journey to the extraction point took Rodriguez and Chen through 3 kilometers of challenging mountain terrain, requiring careful navigation and constant awareness of potential threats. Their training in small unit tactics and mountain warfare proved invaluable as they moved silently through rocky outcroppings and sparse vegetation that characterized the Afghan landscape. The weight of their equipment, particularly Rodriguez's Barrett rifle and associated gear, demanded efficient movement techniques to maintain operational tempo. Chen maintained periodic radio contact with command elements, providing location updates and confirming the extraction timeline remained unchanged. The successful engagement had generated significant interest at higher command levels, with requests for immediate preliminary reports about the technical aspects of the shot. However, detailed analysis would have to wait until they reached secure facilities where classified information could be properly handled. Rodriguez found herself mentally reviewing the entire engagement sequence as they moved. The precision required at 3,247 meters exceeded anything attempted during training, yet her calculations and environmental readings had proven accurate. The successful outcome validated years of intensive preparation, but also highlighted the importance of perfect conditions and split-second decision-making in extreme long-range engagements. The extraction helicopter was scheduled to arrive at a predetermined landing zone, approximately 2 hours after the shot, providing sufficient time for methodical movement away from the engagement area. Military planners had learned that rushed extractions often created more risks than benefits, particularly when the tactical situation did not require emergency procedures. Rodriguez and Chen's professional movement through hostile territory reflected this calculated approach to mission completion. Chen reported that intelligence analysts were already beginning preliminary assessment of the convoy's response patterns and communication intercepts collected during the operation. The enemy's reaction provided valuable insights into their command structure, medical capabilities, and security procedures that would inform future operations in the region. Every aspect of the engagement contributed to the broader intelligence picture that guided strategic planning. The mountain environment that had facilitated the extreme long-range shot also provided excellent concealment for their extraction movement. Natural terrain features offered multiple route options and defensive positions if circumstances required deviation from the planned withdrawal path. Rodriguez and Chen moved with the confidence that came from thorough terrain analysis during mission preparation. Rodriguez carried detailed mental notes about equipment performance that would inform her after-action report. The Barrett rifle had performed flawlessly under challenging conditions, and the ammunition had demonstrated remarkable consistency at unprecedented ranges. These technical observations would be valuable for equipment developers and training personnel who prepared other snipers for similar missions. The psychological aspect of extreme long-range engagement required careful management as the adrenaline subsided and normal awareness returned. Rodriguez had trained extensively to handle the mental challenges of precision shooting under combat conditions, but the extended observation time and clear target visualization created unique stresses that required professional discipline to process effectively. Chen's spotting and communication skills had been crucial to the mission's success, demonstrating the importance of well-trained sniper teams rather than individual operators. The coordination required for environmental monitoring, target identification, and tactical communication could only be achieved through extensive partnership training and combat experience working together under pressure. Military doctrine emphasized that successful sniper operations depended on comprehensive planning, technical expertise, and flawless execution under combat conditions. Rodriguez's achievement represented the convergence of individual skill, team coordination, equipment capabilities, and favorable circumstances that rarely align so perfectly in operational environments. The extraction landing zone came into view as they crested a ridge, approximately 1 kilometer from their shooting position. The terrain provided excellent concealment and multiple approach routes for the helicopter, while offering clear fields of observation in all directions. Chen confirmed their arrival at the designated coordinates and began preparing signal devices for aircraft identification. Rodriguez conducted final equipment checks while Chen established communication with the incoming extraction aircraft. The helicopter crew had been briefed about the mission's success and the record-setting nature of the engagement, but operational security required that detailed discussion wait until they reached secure facilities where classified information could be properly handled. The sound of rotor blades became audible from the east, right on schedule according to the extraction timeline. Military aviation units prided themselves on precision timing, understanding that delays or early arrivals could compromise operational security or endanger ground personnel. The approaching aircraft represented the final phase of a mission that had exceeded all expectations for technical achievement and tactical success. Rodriguez felt the satisfaction that came from successful completion of an extremely challenging mission, but remained focused on the professional responsibilities that continued until they were safely back at base. The confirmed elimination of a high-value target would have strategic implications beyond the immediate tactical success, potentially disrupting enemy operations throughout the region for months to come. The helicopter approached the landing zone with the practiced precision characteristic of Special Operations Aviation units. Rodriguez and Chen prepared for rapid boarding procedures while maintaining security awareness until the aircraft departed friendly territory. The record-setting shot would generate extensive analysis and recognition, but their immediate priority remained professional completion of all mission requirements. The helicopter touched down precisely on schedule, its rotors creating a whirlwind of dust and debris that Rodriguez and Chen navigated with practiced efficiency. Within seconds, they were aboard the aircraft and climbing away from the Afghan mountainside, where they had just made military history. The crew chief's thumbs-up gesture acknowledged their successful mission, though detailed discussions would wait until they reached secure facilities. During the flight back to base, Rodriguez found herself processing the magnitude of what had just occurred. The confirmed distance of 3,247 meters placed her shot among the longest successful sniper engagements ever recorded by military forces. Yet the professional satisfaction was tempered by the sobering reality that their success had eliminated a dangerous enemy leader whose activities had threatened countless innocent lives. Throughout the region, Chen was already organizing his detailed observations and measurements for the comprehensive after-action report that would be required within hours of their return. Military protocols demanded precise documentation of every aspect of extreme long-range engagements, from environmental conditions and equipment performance to target identification procedures and impact assessment. This information would be invaluable for future training and operational planning. The base commander was waiting as their helicopter landed, along with intelligence officers and ballistics experts who had been monitoring the mission from the operations center. Rodriguez understood that her achievement would generate significant interest throughout the military sniper community, but she remained focused on providing accurate technical information, rather than accepting premature congratulations for an engagement that still required thorough verification. The debriefing session lasted several hours, with Rodriguez and Chen providing detailed accounts of every aspect of the mission, from initial positioning through final extraction. Ballistics experts were particularly interested in her environmental calculations and holdover adjustments, seeking to understand how she had achieved such precision at unprecedented ranges. The mathematical complexity of the shot impressed even experienced military marksmen. Independent confirmation of the shot's distance came from multiple sources, including satellite imagery, GPS coordinates, and surveying equipment that precisely measured the range between Rodriguez's firing position and the target location. The verified distance of 3,247 meters exceeded the previous longest confirmed military sniper shot by several hundred meters, establishing a new record that would be studied by military institutions worldwide. Rodriguez's commanding officer formally recognized the historic nature of her achievement while emphasizing the tactical significance of eliminating such a high-value target. Intelligence reports confirmed that the enemy commander had been responsible for coordinating attacks throughout the region, and his elimination would significantly disrupt insurgent operations for months to come. The strategic impact multiplied the importance of the technical achievement. Military media specialists documented Rodriguez's story for internal publications and training materials. though operational security requirements limited public disclosure of specific details. Her achievement would be shared throughout the military sniper community to advance training methods and inspire other marksmen to push the boundaries of long-range precision shooting. The Barrett rifle and ammunition used in the record-setting shot were retained for detailed analysis by weapons experts and equipment manufacturers. Every aspect of the engagement provided valuable data for improving future sniper systems and ammunition designs. Rodriguez's feedback about equipment performance under extreme conditions would influence development of next-generation precision shooting systems. Rodriguez received formal recognition through military decorations, appropriate for her exceptional marksmanship and successful elimination of a high-value target. However, she understood that the achievement represented not just individual skill, but the effectiveness of comprehensive training programs and team coordination that enabled such precision under combat conditions. Chen's contributions as spotter were equally recognized for their crucial role in the mission's success. The psychological evaluation required after high-stakes combat engagements confirmed Rodriguez's continued fitness for operational duty. Military psychologists recognized that extreme long-range shooting created unique mental challenges, but Rodriguez demonstrated the professional maturity and emotional stability necessary to continue serving in special operations roles. Training institutions throughout the military requested detailed briefings about the techniques and calculations Rodriguez had used to achieve success at 3,047 meters. Her experience became integrated into advanced sniper curricula, helping prepare future marksmen for similar extreme long-range challenges. The knowledge gained from her achievement would benefit military precision shooters for decades to come. 6 months after the record-setting shot, Rodriguez continued serving with distinction in special operations units, applying the same dedication and technical expertise to subsequent missions. The historic achievement had established her reputation as one of the military's most capable precision marksmen, but she remained focused on the professional responsibilities that defined her career as a Navy SEAL sniper. The impact of eliminating the Taliban commander continued reverberating throughout the region, with intelligence reports confirming significant disruption to enemy operations and communication networks. Rodriguez's single shot had achieved strategic objectives that might have required major ground operations, with far greater risks to military personnel and civilian populations. The precision and effectiveness of her engagement exemplified the strategic value of highly trained special operations snipers in modern military operations.